Next I want to remove this differential cover. Because it's leaky, the gasket is, I'm going to scrape the dirt off while it's still attached. That way I get the majority of it off and lessen the possibility of it getting inside the differential for whatever reason. And also I want to try and get these bolts a little cleaner so my socket can grip them better. When you remove this bolt over here that has this tag, make sure you keep the tag and put it back where it belongs. It's important as information about the differential here. And now with the collection bucket underneath, I'm going to go around and remove all of these 13mm headed bolts. I'm going to start at the top, work my way towards the bottom. Another tag up top. I'm actually going to start a couple of these bolts back in just so the cover doesn't come flying off when it does break free. And I'm going to get these close, not bottomed out because I want this to come off, but I don't want it to fall down. Of course, I have my collection bucket ready. Now I'm going to find a little spot to pry and hopefully get underneath there. There we go. I'm going to take this bolt completely out at this point. Now we're making progress. That one out as well. And there you have it. Take this cover off. Let this all drain. Next I want to put a rag over the differential here so that I don't get any debris falling inside of it. And then I want to clean up this whole surface so that I can get the new gasket sealing properly. I'm going to use a razor blade, scrape off all the old gasket maker. I recommend using a razor blade because it will not gouge the surface like a screwdriver, a pry bar, or even sandpaper. Sandpaper, if you do it by hand. If you do it on a sanding block, it'll work, but it's just going to get clogged up with this. So if you do it by hand, you could actually create divots. So a razor blade is best. Now with this all cleaned up, I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off with some brake parts cleaner. That way I can ensure the surface is degreased, nice and clean, free of any debris. I'm going to give this surface one last wipe with brake parts cleaner since it's been open for a little bit. And then we can put the gasket on as well as the cover for the differential. It's important to have the surface as clean as possible, that way you have no leaks. Take your differential cover, if you have a magnet on there, make sure you put it back. Put it on the lower side. You want it sitting right about here so it can collect the debris. Don't put it right next to the gear. You don't want it to be so close that it gets caught by the gear, but you know, over here somewhere. So in my case, if the cover sits like this, I'll be putting it right around here on the back side. Right there, that should be perfect. And your gasket, line that up to make sure it's going or facing the right direction because it won't line up both ways. If you flip it over and you line up some of the holes, other ones will be completely off. So it goes this way and put the cover over it. I'm going to start in the top bolt here so it can be held in place and I can let go. So now it's held in place. I'm going to start some more bolts in. This one had a tag on it, so I'm not going to put that one in yet. And this next one also had a tag, so I'm going to wait. I'm going to put all of the bolts in and then put the two in with the tag. Then we'll bottom those out and torque them all. So remember which tag goes where. I know for me, this rustier one went on top, and then there's another tag that goes right over here. Make sure you face it the right direction so it can actually be read. Okay, careful when you tighten these because the tags are most likely going to want to rip out as you tighten the bolt. So just something to keep in mind. Snug this up. Doesn't matter which order you go in, I'm just going to go across so I can actually seat this whole thing properly. All right, now I'm just going to go around by hand, make sure they're all nice and tight. Yeah, that's what I was talking about when I said they want to bend. You have to kind of anticipate where it's going to want to land once you're done tightening. As you can see, after they bottom out, I'm just basically going 1/4 of a turn. Okay, they're all tight. Let's fill it up. Now I want to fill up the differential. On the front side of it, where the drive shaft goes in, you'll see this 3/8 drive plug. So grab your 3/8 drive tool and let's remove it. Sometimes these are super stuck. There we go. All right, take this out. And this differential takes just about 3 quarts of 75W140 gear oil. And in my case, this is a limited slip, so I need to either have the limited slip additive built into the oil or add it separately. Grab your fluid and start pouring it in. The way you know when to stop is when it starts coming out of the fill plug. Okay, we've got fluid dripping out of here. That means it's up at this level at the fill plug, so we can cap it off now. Let's wipe off some of the drippage here, make sure the threads are clean. And I cleaned up my fill plug, put some Teflon tape on it. I'm gonna start it back into the threads here. I'll snug it up with a ratchet. And when you tighten this, you don't have to go for extra tight. You just make it snug and it should bottom out and just seal up. So right here, it feels like I could keep going, but it's tight. So I'm going to stop.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.